Welcome to the Investors Chair podcast with Ivan Sambo. Explore investing, saving, and budgeting in South Africa. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to the Investors Chair podcast with myself, Ivan Sambo. The conversation we're having today is very interesting because I could ask about this topic from a young entrepreneur who said, Ivan, I want to raise money for my company. I want to be able to upscale it to a new level. How do I sell my shares of my company in the JSE so that I can be able to get funds, so I can be able to upscale my business? And I was like, this is actually an interesting topic to cover. So today we're talking about how can you get your company listed in the JSE. We'll talk about the steps, the requirements, advantages and disadvantages, and also at the end, I will give my opinion around getting listed in the JSE. So let's talk about the step on how exactly to get listed in the JSE. By the way, guys, I am not an expert into getting a company listed in the JSE. I have never got a company listed in the JSE. So everything I'm talking about is based on research and what I have read and understood to be the process of how to get listed in the JSE. So I'll be reading a lot in terms of this episode we are having today. So let's talk about the step-by-step of how to get your company listed in the JSE to sell shares to the general public, right? So basically, the JSE has two listings which are popular for businesses to use, which is the main board where you find companies like Capitec Bank, your ShopRite, your Discovery listed in, right? So then we have what is called the alternative listing or the alternative exchange. The alternative exchange, guys, basically it is a market in the JSE, inside the JSE, that is dedicated to small companies, your Purple Group, whatever it is. Those small companies are still coming up and which are not main big companies like your Capitec Bank, for example, right? So those are the two main boards or two main exchanges that are in the JSE, the main board, which is the main exchange, and alternative board, which is for small businesses. So if you want to get your company listed, you need to choose which one do you go for. Do you go for the main board, meaning you're a big main company, or you go for the alternative, meaning you're a small company in the context of the JSE and want to be listed, right? So that's the first step you do. Choose which board you want to be listed into, or in other words, choose which exchange within the JSE you want your company listed into, the main one or the alternative one. Basically, most small companies will go with the alternative exchange. After you have done that, you need to do two things. If you want to be listed in the main board of the JSE with the likes of Capitec Bank, the likes of ShopRite, the likes of Standard Bank, you need to get what is known as a sponsor guide main list, right? This basically, sponsor basically is someone that comes in to sponsor your process of being listed in the JSE. Your likes of Standard Bank, your ABSA, your accounting firms typically become your sponsor for you to be listed in the main board of the JSE. If you are a small company, want to be listed in the alternative exchange of the JSE, you need to appoint what is known as a designated advisor to help you with the process of being listed in the JSE, guys. So that's the second step you need to do. If you want to go to the main board, you need to get a sponsor. If you want to get to what is known as the alternative exchange, the alternative board for the small companies, you need to appoint what is known as a designated advisor, right? That's the second step you need to do. The third step you need to do to be listed in the JSE is to meet a few requirements, right? Number one, you need to prepare listing document known as pre-listing documents. These are documents that detail your company's business model, your finances, your risk, and your operation, and also the details, the amounts of shares that you're offering to the Johannesburg stock market, basically. So you need to prepare the pre-listing documents for yourself. And the next thing, you need to submit an application to the JSE, basically, to say, hey, JSE, I need to apply to be listed in the JSE. So you need to submit that document, which is also found within the JSE itself. Will give your documents, I presume, right? So after that, obviously, you'll wait for the JSE to approve. But yes, you can get listed. No, you cannot get listed. I make it sound simple, but it's a lot of hard work. I was going through some of those documents. Some of them are going for, they're like 300 pages, some of them are 200 pages. It's a very, very, very complicated process, but I'm just trying to simplify for everyone to understand, right? So after you have done all of that, you need to meet the requirements. So what are the specific requirements that you need to meet in order for your company, whether it's a small or a huge company, to be listed in the JSE? The first requirement to get listed in the main board, the main exchange, with the likes of the Capitec Bank, your ABSAs, your whoever, the main board, the big boys, right? If you want to play here are the requirements you need to meet. You need a share capital of a minimum 25 million South African rand. Not only that, you need to have public shareholding of at least 20% by public shareholders, 20% basically. You need that. And in profit history, basically, you need to prove that a minimum of 20 million profit was made before tax in the last 3 years. This is for you to be listed in the main board. Not only that, guys, but you need directors as well. You need a minimum 4 directors, and also need some which are non-executive directors. Also, you need to comply with the King code as well. So that is for a company that want to be listed in the main board. Let's talk about small companies that want to be listed in the alternative exchange or the alternative board of the Johannesburg stock market to sell shares to me and you. What the requirements you need to meet? Number one, you need share capacity. Sorry for that. You need share capacity of around 2 million, minimum 2 million. That's your share capacity. English, guys. Capacity that you need. And public shares holding, you need to be around 10% held by the public of your company, by the company that you're trying to get listed. And not only that as well, you need to ensure that you comply with the alternative directors program as well, which is available as well inside the JSE website. It's a very complicated document that you can go check it out for yourself. And also, the nice thing about being listed in an alternative exchange or alternative board is that you don't have to worry about profit history. You don't need to worry about that, but you need to show growth potential. Your company must show that there is growth potential. Yes, you don't have a profit history, but you do have growth potential of the company that you're trying to get listed in the JSE. So what are the benefits of your company getting listed in the Johannesburg stock market? Let's look at the benefit. Number one is access to capital. You raise fund very easily in the JSE because a lot of people, the public, you can go buy the shares of whatever company of yours that you are listing in the JSE. Also, you get enhanced credibility. A company that's listed in the JSE gets more credibility compared to a private company because a lot of scrutiny is in the public companies that are listed in the JSE compared to the private company that are not listed in the JSE. So you have more credibility when your company get listed in the JSE. And also you get a lot of transparency because a lot of the things you do are in the public domain. So a lot of people tend to trust JSE listed companies compared to private companies. Disadvantage is the high cost. Guys, to be listed, there's a lot of legal cost that's linked into it. Accounting cost as well, because you're a public listed company, you need to ensure all your accounting is done in a proper manner, as opposed to when you're a private company, you can snag things under the rug. But when you are publicly listed, accounting is very strong, and the sponsorship and compliance fees are very high as well. Regulation is very hard to publicly listed company. Regulation is very strict on them, and not only that, but public scrutiny on their finances is there every day. Everyone can criticize your finances and how you're operating in your company. So basically, to be listed in the JSE is very hard for a small company. If you're trying out, you're running your sneaker cleaning company, your car wash, you are not going to get listed. You are developing property, but you're still small. You're not going to get listed because the requirements are very hard. It needs a lot of time. So my opinion is that try other mainstream ways to fundraise money. I know you can fundraise money through a lot of other processes, public funding, private funding to do that. But the JSE is very hard in terms of you getting listed there. So I think the other alternative ways of fundraising money and raising capital for your business are much more better than actually yourself going into the JSE and getting listed. So guys, that is it for today's episode of the Investors Chair podcast with myself, Ivan Sambo. Let me know what you think about the requirements to get listed in the JSE. Are they hard? Are they tall? Or are they short? Let me know, guys. Until next time, be safe.